Welcome to the Leg Kick. My name is David. I am your co-host of the Leg Kick podcast, and I'm here joined by two gentlemen. I've been watching more podcasts recently, and I feel like everybody gets like a funny intro, but I haven't thought of anything to begin with. So, Jeremy, how you doing?
I have nothing for you. I'm not like an impromptu comedian.
Okay. Michael, how are you doing?
I'm not gonna have some corny ass thing to say like Jeremy did, but I'm good. I'm okay.
You guys ready to pod?
Okay. We just spent an hour talking like
we literally talked about everything but MMA.
Yeah.
So
as if we're friends. So.
But in reality, I don't know these guys. So yeah.
Fuck y'all niggas. All right, boys. Good card though, right?
Great card. Just for the audience, Michael and I are slowly planning our music pod. Jeremy, you can join as well if you want. But I feel like we don't listen to the same music. But yeah, it was a great card. A little bit of a sleeper, I would say.
Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, we do have to get to MMA news, but I just wanted to say, good call all around. There were some good boxing fights too.
Really?
Yeah, there was a couple of boxing fights. You know. And we'll get into that for boxing
news. Okay.
But first, brother, the news.
I think there's only one place to start.
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
hold on.
Transition.
Let's get into the news and views of the week.
All right. I feel like there's only one place to start because we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. Jake Paul beats Tyron Woodley by decision to stay undefeated in his burgeoning boxing career. This is Jake Paul of the YouTube fame. And gentlemen, how did this make you feel? We won't even go into who won and, how many rounds because that was too long and nobody cares. Yeah. But how does this make you feel as practitioners of the sport?
I think the Jake Paul hype is kind of dying down after this.
For real?
I think it's dying down.
He says he's going to retire.
He unretired.
He unretired.
But he's officially a fighter.
You know what happened? Showtime showed him that next check, and he's like, you know what? I am unretired.
Yeah. But even from like a small perspective, David, how many times am I at your house? I'm like, I think I'm done after this fight.
Yes.
It does happen.
I mean, fair. And to be fair, Tyron Woodley did kind of put it on him. So this was probably his most not real fight, let me not say that, but this was the most challenge that he got in his boxing career.
And I gotta say, I personally had him losing the 6th round, and so if you're his team, you need him to go get the 7th, right? Like you need him to go get it, and he went out and got it. Like he went out and got that round. So there is something to be said for,
I feel like proper order in the universe has been restored. He looked like an amateur, which is what he is.
Yeah,
he's an amateur boxer.
Yeah.
So I think to me, it feels like proper.
I thought he looked good, Jeremy. I don't know what you're talking about. I thought he looked
Amateurs
good.
Can look good.
Yeah, but I mean, he was fighting like a professional MMA fighter, and I don't think Tyron Woodley looked that bad.
Well, and Tyron Woodley has a habit of making people look bad in general, at least when he was in his heyday. Okay, let me ask you guys around the room. If I were to bring the top 100 boxers of the cruiserweight division, because that's where Jake Paul is in around cruiserweight, like 190, 195, would you think Jake Paul has a chance against any of those top 100?
No, but I definitely think he's good enough to go pro, for sure. I mean, he is pro already, and I think you give him and we were talking about this in the gym the other day, but you give him a year, 2 years, he could be a pro boxer, easy.
Yeah. Well, because it's like the hyperbolic time chamber for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Year for Jake Paul is not the year for let's say a burgeoning boxer who's working a second job at the construction or the factory, right? The construction site or the factory, and only goes in there twice a week to train. Jake Paul's in there 5 times a week.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I know that. I know he's in there 5 times
2
a week.
days.
Sometimes 2 a days, right? He's got the best trainers.
Training with other pro boxers.
Exactly. He's got the other pro boxers there. And they seem to have his best trainings. At least they seem to have his best interests at heart.
Sure.
They seem to, at least from the outside looking in. I know Tyron Woodley made some comments about the circle being a little too big, but as of right now, they understand for whatever reason. I think some of it is monetary, but for whatever reason, they have his best interests currently at heart, and they are doing the right things with him and the other brother, right? Although I think the other brother is more of an MMA fighter, in my opinion, my humble opinion, but
Based on what?
can't say. We'll talk off air.
Hilarious.
But yeah. So I think what the point I'm trying to make is this, right? We want to believe with all our heart he can't box.
No, he can box. He can box for real.
And we want to believe with all our hearts he's not giving it 150%.
No,
Yes.
and he can more than he can box. He can take a punch,
Yeah.
and he's tough. And yeah, it just goes to show it doesn't matter where you come from, how much privilege you have. Like if you're dedicated to something, like you can still be very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Jake Paul is living proof of that because he was not a boxer to begin with. So the fact that he is fighting, not with a pro boxer, but with an MMA fighter, I think is just a testament to how serious he's taking this. I guess another question is, where does this leave the state of MMA boxing? Does this mean that MMA fighters cannot box?
Well, I mean, they're getting... I have to be very careful about the way I'm going to say this because I respect Tyron Woodley. I respect Ben Askren. But they're not the representatives of boxing you want against, like, a boxer. Like, you would want... Honestly, like, let's say you get Robert Whittaker in there. Right? I'll even take Anderson Silva in there.
You know what? I wouldn't like Robert Whittaker's chances against Jake Paul, weirdly enough. Like, that's a weird statement to say out loud, but I think Jake Paul would give Robert Whittaker a bunch of problems. Robert Whittaker is a kickboxer, maybe.
Yeah, fair
and
enough.
Very reliant on his kicks, on weird angles. Like, I wouldn't say he's, like, boxing dudes up. I'm trying to think of somebody in that weight division-ish that would even
Anderson
make sense.
Silva I know Anderson Silva was 50 and carries a walk to the ring, but Anderson Silva beat a world champion boxer.
I mean, I feel like Anderson Silva would be a good shout, but even then, like, as you said, he is 50, has taken a lot of punishment for a lot of years, at least
Can you
2 to
imagine
3
Jake
decades.
Paul right cross or right overhand, just like landing?
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think as an MMA fan base we're ready to see Jake Paul knock out our favorite fighters like back to back to back to back. So I think I'm not sure who would go to watch the UFC anymore if that happens. But
this is the problem. I think most smart MMA fans understand that boxing is a different game.
For sure.
So they understand that this is not an indictment on MMA striking. It's just an indictment on... Huh?
It is an indictment on MMA striking.
Because if...
I don't know how you can say it's not.
I'll give you an example. There was a pretty good boxer who came into the gym one time. And when it came to just boxing, really, really good. Really good. Lit everybody up.
Wait, are you talking about Jeremy? Or?
Jeremy can box.
Newsflash. Jeremy can box. Maybe not as well as Jake Paul. But
listen,
he can box.
give Jeremy his respect.
No. I learned the hard way. Jeremy can box for sure, for real.
Right? But he comes into the gym. Right? I think you all have seen the kid, but like the kid can box. Legitimately can box. He wants to try an MMA styles, like kickboxing style striking for a little bit. Leg kicks were available, clap, 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 right? All of a sudden, you throw a 3-piece combo. He wants to throw something back, head kick to the dome, right? You want and then he wants to do MMA. Well, there was a threat of the takedown. So now all of a sudden, he doesn't want to do anything. Overhand right lands all the time now.
Wow.
So the idea, like, when you do MMA, it's a different game, and you have to calcify your mind to a different game. And I know this because I've had to turn the mind on from Muay Thai to MMA, and you've seen it. Like sometimes, I'll now all of a sudden the hands are up high, and I got the front leg light, and then
So then, I think what you need to tell our audience is that why is it that when there's less things to worry about, the struggle the difficulty increases.
Well, when there's less things to worry about with boxing, there's less options available.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? It's because you only got 2 hands, right? And therefore, your creativity is lower. And that's why I think a lot of these MMA fighters the issues they run into is creativity. It's not necessarily hand speed or physical attributes. It's creativity. For example, Tyron Woodley, all he wants to do is throw a 1-2, right? He every once in a while will throw a looping left hook, right, just to kind of check Jake Paul from like coming side to side, but he didn't do it enough. Whereas when you have boxer, they're throwing looping left hooks, they're leaning on you, they're keeping their stance low, sometimes they're changing, sometimes they're going to the body 2 times over.
And their combos are way more creative.
Yeah, they have more creativity in the hands. And they're also worried more about...
But my thing is, though, like, I mean, a lot of noise and fuss was made over MMA fighters just being in the gym more, you know, I can't think of a single MMA gym that I've ever seen that doesn't train boxing. So boxing is a crucial element of MMA. So it's not as if dudes don't know how to box.
Yeah.
My worry now is that here's a dude who literally came with zero experience and within 4 years is beating MMA fighters. Like, I know like guys are training other stuff, but Tyron Woodley has definitely been training boxing for longer than 4 years. And then we talked about the hyperbolic chamber, but still, like.
But again, he's training boxing for MMA.
But he's
right. So it's a different.
Let me put it this way: if you had Rod Tang from Muay Thai,
Rod Tang would fuck up Jake Paul.
Okay, but imagine he didn't. Yeah, you would exactly right. It wouldn't make sense because Rod Tang's been doing this for so many years.
Well, okay, Rod Tang is also a boxing Thai boxer.
Exactly.
That's
why I picked him. Yeah.
No. Well, you know, okay. Here's the issue though that we also Jake Paul has some physical attributes that make him really fucking good,
I don't want to hear that. Tyron Woodley was described as a freak athlete for his entire career.
Well, he's also 40 years old. And the
I feel like a wrestler,
and the other thing. Sorry, go ahead.
I feel like when you're a good wrestler in MMA, it gives you the advantage of being like a good skater in hockey. Wow. I feel that like if a good skater who was adequate at stick handling were to go play ball hockey, I feel like that's the same thing as an MMA fighter or a wrestler who.
Yeah.
I hear that.
I like that.
That's actually very. That's a
you
good
should
analogy.
still have like some grasp of the fundamentals. I do think Woodley had a great grasp of the fundamentals. I think he was, in my opinion, a little bit more fundamentally sound than Jake Paul.
But that's what I was also going to say is that. That's what I was also going to say though is that like when you look at the exchanges. When Tyron Woodley decided to throw...
Yeah, he did look better.
Right? But the problem with Tyron Woodley is the creativity wasn't there and the diversity of strikes wasn't there. So he got gun-shy to throw because all he could really do was... Well, all he wanted to do was 1-2.
And I do feel like Jake Paul was doing... Like, towards the end of the fight, Jake Paul was, like, taunting and doing, like, the Matador... Like, man, you weren't that far ahead to be, like, taunting like that, bro. Like,
no, it was close.
It was close.
Which is why I say, like, proper order is restored because people were thinking Jake Paul could fight actual cruiserweight boxers.
No, definitely not.
Can you imagine Jake Paul sick? Oh my
look,
God.
The MMA thing, that's still up in the air, but I feel like that's more realistic for that to be up in the air. For Jake Paul to be in consideration to fight like the best boxers,
no,
I think now that we've seen what we've seen, and he was actually tested, I think that people know that okay, he's not ready yet.
Well, I'll say this: if Jake Paul were to face any fighter,
Tommy Fury, Tommy Fury versus that guy,
he's gonna beat Tommy Fury.
Wait, Logan Paul?
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul's gonna beat Tom. I don't know who Tommy Fury is.
Okay.
I might agree with you just based on the fight that was on the same card.
Yeah.
I might agree with you.
Dude, if you see Tommy Fury's record, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Like he fights
what, cab drivers?
He fights he fights guys.
What do they call cabs in
taxis?
Taxi drivers.
You know,
Black
Tommy Fury's English. That's why.
Hilarious.
You know, so he's being Tommy Fury. But then again, Tommy Fury is also from like kind of the same ilk. He's a Love Island reality star or something like that. That's why.
Okay.
So
then.
Like he boxes. He was almost kind of boxing part time.
Just because his big bro was boxing.
Yeah. Right. I mean I don't remember what reality show was it. Too Hot to Handle Love Island? Something on Netflix. But apparently he's a reality star from there.
He's beautiful.
Right. Good looking kid. Good looking chap. You know. Good looking kid.
But that must be why. That must be why he went the TV route instead of the box route, like Tyson Fury.
Yeah,
I mean, Fury's 6'9" and looks like a skinhead. So.
Yeah. And in some circles, you might say he actually is, but that's not this podcast.
Wait, is he related to Tyson Fury?
Yeah, Tommy Fury, yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Oh wow,
right.
Weird.
But yeah. Anyway, other.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What's called Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena has been rebooked for UFC 269.
I've never had an opinion of mine change more negatively than mine on Juliana Pena.
Care to expand on that?
Okay, let me explain. I actually think Juliana Pena is like an interesting fighter. She presents some interesting stylistic challenges for certain fighters in the division. But she went on this kind of media tour where she does these mental gymnastics as to why she should face Amanda Nunes. One of them was something along the lines of, I was almost beating Valentina Shevchenko, then I got caught.
Oh, God.
I was almost beating GDR, and then I got to... Imagine being the only person to lose to GDR by submission. Think about that for a second. And you frame it as, I was almost beating GDR until I got caught with a submission. A submission to GDR. Okay. And she goes, and that's why... And then I beat this girl. I beat the brakes off of this girl, who I can't even remember, which shows you the level of competition she was.
Wow.
Right? And watch it be like Irene Aldana or somebody like really good.
Now let me look it up.
Yeah. And then she goes, and that's why I should face Amanda Nunes. That's how she got her title shot, by the way.
Literally, just like process of elimination?
Yeah. She's
man.
and that's why I should that's why I should face Amanda Nunes, because I could beat her. Then she goes on Ariel Hawaii's podcast, and she's like, I remember I offered her a fight, and she was ducking me. It's like, yeah, because you lost to GDR by submission.
Flames.
Like, what are you talking about, bro?
To be fair, though, her only losses in the UFC have been to Valentina Shevchenko. No shame in that at all.
Yeah.
And then GDR,
By
a
submission.
little bit of shame in that one. But
Only because it was by submission. If it was,
no, I mean, in a normal sense, no, but by submission, I think we all saw.
And you're the wrestler. Are you kidding me?
And we all saw what Amanda Nunes did to GDR the second time they fought. Like, it was not pretty. So we'll see. And then she beat Sarah McMahon.
Yeah. No, like, look, presents good fighter, presents some interesting stylistic differences. Like, I'm not trying to sit here and this isn't a Jessica I roast session, okay? Like, I'm trying
We're
to
not
be
talking
legit.
about Jessica I.
No, I'm just saying, like, this is usually what I do to Jessica I. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Hilarious.
This is usually how
She
I
has a win over Jessica I, if that makes any difference.
Oh, yeah.
Hilarious.
Ooh.
In fact, I think Jessica... Oh, actually, let me not speak out of turn.
Oh, Jessica I get a win over her. Wow, like every other woman.
Hilarious. Rude.
But you know what? One day she's gonna come to this.
Yeah, really. I'm box you up, Michael. I hope you're ready.
And kick my ass. But it's her fault. You want to talk shit about the media? Go ahead. This is what you get. But what's it called? Again, Juliana Pena presents some interesting stylistic differences. Good grappler, good wrestler. One of the few, like her and Tatiana Suarez, in my opinion, one of the few people who say, and Cookie Monster, Carlos Barza, who say, okay, we're grappling, bring your wrestling shoes. And I appreciate that in a females division where Dana White kind of likes the strikers a little bit.
Yeah.
I appreciate that in this division. Bring your lunch pail wrestlers. But and you were going to get a title shot anyway if you just kind of kept on the pace. But to go on this media tour with some of the most ridiculous mental gymnastics I've ever seen is fucking weird. Like,
yeah. I mean... Who else are they going to put her up there with? Put up with Amanda Nunes realistically, but yeah, she is coming off just one win. Yeah, but before that though, she had like a pretty decent 4-fight win streak. So I don't know. I don't really know enough about Juliana Pena to have an educated opinion. All I know is Amanda Nunes is gonna win. So, yeah.
Like, I don't want to diss Juliana Pena because I actually do like her as a fighter. I really do. It's just, yeah, she's not beating Amanda Nunes.
No, I don't see it.
Although, if I do think stylistically, if let's say Juliana Pena was like a better striker, this could get interesting. Because
I think
imagine
the
going.
problem is that Amanda Nunes is also a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Yes, but Amanda Nunes relies on power and strength, and I think Julianne Pena is one of the more stronger girls stronger women, in the division, right? So imagine Julianne Pena goads Amanda Nunes into like an exchange and then ducks right under, like Frankie Edgar style, just ducks under for a takedown.
I mean, good luck.
That honestly,
Has there ever been a fighter to take down Amanda Nunes? I would like to know that.
Outright, there's been a couple like early in her career, but on this prime run, no. Valentina was close. She had like a trip that nearly got her. But
that's Valentina exactly, man. It's one thing. I don't know, man. I just can't see anybody beating her, legitimately.
Except for Valentina, because I actually think Valentina won the second fight, but that's another story for another time.
Yeah. Anyway, any more thoughts on that, Jeremy? No. All right, good. Cowboy Oliveira Charles Oliveira. That's still Cowboy, right? No, man, that's a completely different
Alex
dude.
Oliveira, who fights in
all these fighters are blending into one name. Charles Oliveira is going to be fighting Dustin. Oh, yeah, Charles Oliveira is Do Bronx. He's going to be fighting Dustin Poirier for... Yeah.
Yeah, no,
okay.
I'm just giving ad lib. Sorry.
He's going to be fighting Dustin Poirier for the main event of UFC 269 on December 11th, 2021. Cool. Any early thoughts on that one?
I like Dustin Poirier's chances initially, but my mind can change. It's a very close fight. It's competitive. I like it. I like it a lot.
I like the fight. I think Poirier...
Duke wouldn't like this fight.
Maybe that's somebody who could realistically beat Jake Paul in boxing. Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
Because Dustin Poirier can, legitimately box. But then again, I don't know. Israel Adesanya for sure. Israel Adesanya for sure.
Who do you think would win in a boxing fight? Izzy or Canelo Alvarez?
Canelo Alvarez. What are you talking about? Who do you think would win in a kickboxing fight?
I envisioned Canelo Alvarez breaking Izzy's nose.
Hilarious. Yeah. Come on, man. But I think Dustin Poirier probably has the edge just on the feet with Charles Oliveira, but if it hits the ground, we need to see more from Dustin Poirier on the ground, honestly.
Although, Justin Poirier, I hear, is a very legit black belt on the ground.
Yeah.
Very legit.
But, it's hard to erase that Khabib memory for me.
Whenever somebody faces Khabib, I've learned this.
Just don't throw out that performance.
Throw it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Habib beats everybody.
Yeah.
On the ground. It's just not even throw it out. Except for maybe Justin Gaethje, because that was a little easy. That was a little too easy.
Bro. If I ever hear about anti-wrestling ever again, I'm going to lose my mind.
No, because it's a legit thing.
It's a legit thing, but come on. Against a top pedigree wrestler,
okay, you're facing a generational talent.
Yeah,
a generation. Habib is going to go down as probably, depending on your thought process, the first or second best fighter of all time.
Okay, I thought you were going to say wrestler. I was who was even close to...
After who?
Maybe GSP.
Oh my God.
Fighter
Canadian bias. Canadian bias.
Fighter of all time. I mean, look, it's GSP, Jones, and Habib right there in the top three. If Habib, and depending on what you think.
Is that based on resume or skills? Because I'd have to put Anderson Silva up in there.
Well, Anderson Silva, when he was going, there was no
skills wise.
Yeah, there was no one. But the problem is with Anderson Silva is that you have the PED test that he has no defense.
Oh man, I don't care about that.
But then the other thing is, towards the end, it got a little sad.
For sure, but I just think Anderson Silva, and this is not what we're talking about, but Anderson Silva...
It always somehow gets there.
Yeah, I know.
We're talking about Duke Bronx versus...
Yeah, Jonah just do 20 minutes on GSP. No, the thing with Anderson Silva, I think his striking was just so far ahead of anything that UFC had seen at that point, that eventually, guys, other fighters from, kickboxing and Muay Thai kind of caught on and started training more training more MMA, which kind of got, and obviously age and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of the reason why.
The problem with Anderson Silva,
I legitimately thought Michael Bisping beat Anderson Silva, fair and square.
I still to this day don't, because Michael Bisping was 13% from the field that night.
But I thought it was good, man. I thought he was active.
No, I thought it was a good fight. I do think it was competitive. I'm just saying, It's the Marvin Hagler versus Sugar Ray Robinson argument all over again. Do you reward somebody for inefficiency, right? Like
Robinson or Leonard?
Sorry, Leonard.
Sugar Ray Robinson, the guy who sang "It's a Wonderful World."
Yeah. No, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, at what point do you start dinging people for inefficiency? Like,
I get it, but I don't know. Anyway, that's not what we're talking about right now.
Okay, anyway, next topic.
Next topic. Rafael Fiziev is going to be fighting Brad Riddell. I can't tell you how excited I am for this fight. It's going to be a war. It's going to be a war, man. I love what City Kickboxing does. I recently rewatched, because I didn't watch it the first time, the Max Holloway versus Alexander Volkanovski fight, which Volkanovski definitely lost that second fight. Like, definitely. I don't even know how he could. I mean, I guess, like, he picked it up towards the end, but, like, I don't even know.
You know what? I was watching a video from, what's it called? The Weasel. Big fan of his, by the way. Good YouTuber. But you know what? He actually did a breakdown as to why Anderson
Volkanovski.
Alex Volkanovski won the second.
Anderson Volkanovski Silva. All right, okay, I'm done.
Anderson Volkanovski Silva. No, Anderson.
There you go.
No, why Alex Volkanovski won the second fight, and the reason why is when you just look at like how many strikes were landed, how many were heavy, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Volkanovski landed more strikes, and I guess that's why people gave him the third round, right? There's no argument. He won the fourth and the fifth. So,
okay.
I think to answer your question, that's where I think people scored it. They just said, "Hey, he landed X."
Yeah,
Holloway landed Y, and therefore...
What I did like about that fight, though, and that it really got me reconsidering, like, who the best feinter in the UFC is. Like, Volkanovski is up there. Yeah. Like, he's up there. Like, man, I watched that thing and instantly wanted to, like, practice and, like, try that out. It's crazy. Like, he's really good.
And he does it like us. But see, this is what I was trying to explain to my students. Like, especially one Angel, right? Jeremy knows Angel.
Yeah.
I tried to explain to him, like, you're a shorter guy, and I get that you want to go inside, but you don't need to take 80 punches getting there. You can do it with feints. Mm-hmm. You can do it with trickery. You can do it with deception.
You know who's really good at that? Freddie.
Yeah, Freddie in the gym is really good at that. Really like, you know, he's also got really light feet, so that's also another thing.
That also helps him,
right? Whereas like when you're dealing with some of these newer students, like, well, Angel's not newer, but like you're dealing with people who typically like to be flat-footed when they're shorter, right? And I got another student, Nick, who's like that. Like they like to just be flat, right? And try to explain to them.
Yeah, really. Dropping names. You know who else is trash?
No, but like
Yusuf, you can't box. But Michael.
No, but you get what, like, you don't necessarily have to be. You're not necessarily bad, and like honestly, you don't like. My thing is, don't try to change people. If they're gonna be like that, that's fine. They can win a lot of fights like that. But my point is, and I love how a conversation about Brad Riddell turns into Alex Volkanovski. But my point is that Alex Volkanovski is 5'4", and doesn't fight like your typical 5'4" guy who's gonna be like flat-footed, walk you down like Jeremy Stevens, throw a bunch of power. He's a not technical per se, but like
I would call him technical. Like,
no, he's a technical fighter, but I think there's also technique in being a Jeremy Stevens. But my point is, he does it with feints on the inside, trickery, deception, and outpointing you. You can do that as a shorter guy. Like, people have this mindset that you can't do it when you're shorter. Yes, you can. No. Yes, you can.
He definitely, I mean, he's living proof, but he's not even the one when he was fighting. It's going to be Brad Riddell, who is not known for his feinting and
which is
and his head movement. But, and Fiziev, who, I guess, I don't know.
He probably needs this one. He needs a...
Who, Fiziev or Riddell?
Well, Fiziev needs some sort of dominating performance.
Yeah, for sure. I was going to say he's a little bit on the... There's a little bit of a question mark given his performance against Bobby Green, which I thought was... I don't know. I'd have to go back and rewatch it, but I thought like Bobby Green put a really good account of himself on that one. And with all due respect, he's an OG for sure. They call him OG Bobby Green for nothing. They don't call him OG Bobby Green for nothing, but...
Bobby Green's just really tough to deal with. Yeah, I'm starting to... Because I thought he was going to go in there and get hurt.
Yeah, no, we both did.
Yeah.
You know, with his hands down, but Fiziev didn't really have too many like answers for like his head movement.
But it goes to show you what you can do with good reactions and some vision.
All right. Keep boasting, Michael. We love it.
No, I'm talking about
joking.
I'm joking. Oh my god!
Joking. Okay, so next topic. Miesha Tate is going to headline UFC October 16 card against I believe this is Ketlin Vieira.
That's a big step up in competition.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, she's only fought Marion. Wait, for who? Vieira or?
For Miesha Tate.
Okay.
Because she only fought Marion Renault, who was,
Yeah.
let's be honest, 1 foot out the door. So. And Ketlin Vieira, last time I checked, is like ranked number 8.
I cannot tell you.
All right, let me look that up. Actually, I can pull that up on the UFC.
Yeah.
Let me do that. But stall as I do this.
Stall.
Let me see if I even have the mics on for that. Okay, yes, I do. Let's do this.
Yeah, Ketlin Vieira is ranked number 8.
Yeah, so, I'm going to pull up the rankings on my interwebs. But yeah, like, I think that's a big step up because Marion Renault was not ranked. And now you're facing someone who's number 8.
But she deserves it, though. I mean,
yeah.
She, as a former champ, kind of the face of the division at one time. So, I get it. I get it.
And, I will say this, too, about Miesha Tate is, like, stylistically, it's a matchup that does kind of favor her, right? It's a grapplers versus grapplers matchup. So.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a story about Al Iaquinta ripping the UFC for announcing a fight before he signed a contract.
Which they have a habit of doing, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, I think we shit on the UFC literally every pod. Shit on Dana every pod. So you know what? Let's skip it this week.
Man, I try to actually give him credit where credit's due on this podcast.
I guess, yeah. But
I do try. It's just you gotta be honest sometimes. Right?
Yeah, for sure. And I don't want to talk about it personally, so whatever. Diego
it's
Sanchez.
just a weird practice. I'm sorry. It is a weird practice.
That is weird, and I would hope there's some kind of rule against it. That's a lot of pressure for a fighter.
It's a negotiation tactic. Here's what he's doing. Basically, he's making you look like the P word.
Yeah.
For pulling out of a fight that you never agreed to, right? Like, let's say, but it's just not good practice. And I understand negotiations. You gotta get a little shrewd, but I'm being serious. Like, I'm not trying to be shitty, but
Iaquinta doesn't need this, man. He's a real estate agent. He doesn't need this. So, you know what? I would just pull out that fight and let the fans say whatever they want. If they want to have a fair one with you, then yeah.
It makes you out to look like the bad guy, the pussy.
For sure.
For pulling out when you're not really pulling out. You just happen to agree to a fight for whatever reason. It could be money. It could be location. Even
could be timing. Look at what happened to Ngannou, which is a story that we skipped.
Yeah, even things like this. Imagine you got a wedding. You planned this wedding for 6 months, and all of a sudden Dana White wants you to fight the week after, the week before this wedding.
Yeah, that's trash. Not happening.
Yeah, even little things that people don't realize. People have lives. Especially if you're a
you mean that fighters aren't in the gym 24/7, just training in that Rocky, one long Rocky montage?
I try to explain that to people. It's if so and so's getting married on the 20 something or someone's a best man for their friend's wedding, do you really think they're gonna fight on the 14th of that same month?
Yeah, for sure.
Guys, let's be honest. Think about it for a second. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it's
the life of a professional athlete, right? You got to perform no matter what you got going on in your personal life. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Anyway, Diego Sanchez is in talks with Bare Knuckles FC. Do we have any thoughts on that one?
Can you get to the next one?
Okay, we'll definitely do that. I think I saw. Sorry, we're getting towards the end now. I think I saw. Yeah. Michael Chiesa is going to be fighting Sean Brady in a grappling match. I'm joking. It's going to be a UFC fight, but it's basically going to be a grappling match.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on that one?
Bring the wrestling shoes and get ready to watch the paint dry.
Hilarious. I don't even know if any of them is a phenomenal wrestler, but they're both really good jiu-jitsu guys. So that should be interesting.
Yeah, I mean, Wow.
Yeah, the fact you just yawned is all you need to say. All you need to say.
That
Take
was
that,
super
Stefano.
by accident. That was super by accident. Look, I respect both of them. I actually think Sean Brady is on the come up. It's just, I know what this is gonna do. You know, there's gonna be boo birds out there, especially if it's on like a numbered event. Boo birds. Somebody's gonna yell, "Stand up!" You know what's they're gonna be grappling. There's not gonna be much action or dirty boxing in the grappling exchanges because both of them are not known for like
You never
being
know,
vicious
though.
in there.
It could be a Kevin Lee versus Gregor Gillespie thing where both of them are just too scared to shoot and just end up having just like a bang out.
Yeah.
Or like a Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington, but I doubt
That was the most like
surprising thing.
Script. I never saw that coming in a million years. And all of a sudden, these guys are throwing hate. Like
literally, that looked like a Muay Thai match more than a.
Well, I mean, for Colby Covington, he is not really the right word to describe how he throws punches. But
all right, tepid. Yeah, he's throwing tepid punches.
He's throwing lukewarm.
Lukewarm, exactly. slightly warmed up punches.
You know, God bless his soul. Like, look, I like Colby as a fighter.
No, he's good, man. He's
Hits
good.
like a mosquito. Like
Hilarious. And I actually like his character personally. I've done a complete 180. At first, I was like so outraged, and then like
I'm
I
not
realized
outraged. It's just okay.
there's way more stuff to be outraged over than
Yeah.
Colby Covington in the UFC.
Dude,
personally,
when I made the racist video, it was just because someone was like, "He's not racist." Like,
no, he definitely was
is
like
racist.
co-opting
Yeah.
like a racist narrative.
But it doesn't mean I don't like some of the things.
Yeah.
I don't like some of the things he's trying.
I
to
wouldn't
do.
even call him a racist personally, but that's my opinion.
Dude, I would say like, okay, see, this is the thing. If I would say, what is he a flat out like bring the Confederate flag, card carrying member of the KKK racist? No, but he is a guy who
He would bring the Confederate flag though. He definitely
probably
would.
He probably would. But like, especially if it gets him more fans.
Yeah, but he's from Oregon though. Like
He's a guy. Here's what he is. He's a guy who understands a market that he can reach to.
Yeah.
And is grifting towards that market.
Yeah.
There it is. Like he understands, and he's kind of trolling you all.
Yeah.
But the problem that you run into when you do that is that when there's a point where you go too far. Right?
Sure,
It's too
and I
deep
do
and
think
you
he
have-
went too far a bunch of times, especially in like the build-up to the Kamaru Usman fight. I did not appreciate some of those comments, but you know what? Looking back, he actually kept it kind of like civil. You know what I mean? Like he wasn't like, "Oh, you're from a dirt hole, shithole." He wasn't really doing
I mean,
that.
the whole signal stuff, and then there was the stuff about his father being in prison.
But his father was in prison though,
Right, but calling it, but like saying, "Oh, you're gonna end up like a criminal, like your father," like.
But his
that was-
father was a criminal in prison.
no,
though.
but to say that to Kamaru Usman, it's like, come on, man. Like, you know, like.
I mean, yeah, it was below the belt, I
Yeah.
guess.
It was
I
like,
guess.
come on, man. Like,
But I just feel like it's a weird line that like MMA fighters have, where you guys are literally punching each other to death, but yeah, like some things you can't say to each other. I don't know.
I mean, I've talked ad nauseum as to why there's the line.
I guess.
Right,
About
and
it's
why
respect, and I get it.
Well, not
The
that. It's just
codes.
competition. It's competition. When you're the problem is this example. MMA fighters, and I've had this conversation with every single MMA fighter, and I've always gotten the shouting down treatment of "you're wrong." We want to be treated with respect, like we're a legit sport, but then we don't conduct ourselves like it's a legit sport.
You're right about that.
And one of the aspects of that is, it's if we say this is competition,
But
then we understand that this is competition.
my counter to that would be, what about boxing? They do mad trash talk in boxing, like great. They talk crazy,
and that's
to each
why
other.
they're also on the outs and aren't respected as well. That's
Yes.
that's literally it. Like, so it's like if you are a competition, if you say you're a legit sport, if we're promoting it as a legitimate fitness exercise, which it is, that has made a lot of people lose weight, which it has.
Okay, yeah, fair.
Then conduct yourself accordingly. And this is the problem that
Nah, man. I think a lot of that stuff is like people are trying to apply like outside rules into like a sport context, and sometimes like the outside rules don't necessarily like life isn't like a competition, so you can't really use the rules from.
I'm not talking about I'm talking about other sports in relation.
No, but that's
to
what I'm
this sport.
saying. I mean, I guess, but like, I guess
I don't know anyone in the NBA. Like, remember when
Yes, I know the example you're about to use.
Which
when
one?
Kevin Garnett was talking to Carmelo and talking about his wife. But that's completely above board for me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like competing.
I was actually going to use the Nick Kyrgios, what's it called, in the Stan Wawrinka, your wife did.
That is way too deep of a reference.
That
You
was
have to explain that one.
But yeah, that one's also another one too that I could use. But basically, Nick Kyrgios basically talked shit about Stan Wawrinka's wife mid match, and I was like, whoa, that's not something you see in tennis, right? So I do understand the idea of like. Of different sports equals different rules. But if we want our sport to be respected, we need to at least understand that it's not blood sport. It's competition. And stop treating it as if it's blood sport until you get into the ring.
Yeah, you're right. MMA is not a blood sport. It's just a sport where people bleed.
No, but that's my point. Like, we have to treat it, we have to sell it as such, because then we're going to get, like, I did not hear one person talk about Marc-Andre Barrios on CP24, but they talked about Leylah Fernandez being Naomi Osaka.
I mean, that was a big deal, though.
It's a big deal.
You see look, we are getting way off track.
Okay, next topic.
But shouts out to Naomi Osaka. That's super sad. And once again, you talk about the highs and lows of like being a professional sport athlete.
She's going through it.
Yeah, man. And what's that guy's name? The rapper that was
Corday?
in here? Yeah. No shouts out to him. Anyway,
did they break up already?
I don't know. Glory check.
What happened?
I really don't know.
I don't know, but like it looks like she's going through it.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
It looks like he's not helping. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I hate to say it. Allegedly.
Okay, so when you wanted to quit MMA, would you say that your partner was not helping with the camera on and the mic's hot? All right.
How is he not helping?
Exactly. You don't know.
No, I said allegedly. Did I not? Did I not say allegedly? Right?
So
did I not say allegedly? Allegedly, he's a piece of shit. No, I'm kidding. No.
Allegedly.
No, he could be allegedly a really good guy and really trying to help her.
But as an athlete, I would imagine, like, you know, there's certain battles you have to fight yourself, right? You know, so
you can lead a horse to water, right? But
yeah. I mean, I don't know how that
applies.
I know. So
whoa. Okay. Next topic.
Alex Pereira, the guy who beat Israel Adesanya, right? Am I thinking of the right guy?
Yes, that is the guy.
Yeah, is going to be fighting in the UFC in November. Are you excited about this?
Yeah, no. Like, let me explain. His record right now is 3-1. He's fought a guy. Who was his wins are against guys who are 8-7, 4-4, and while he did beat a guy who was 6-0, the guy went on to be 5-5 after facing Alex Pereira.
So he literally lost a fight. He lost a win after he faced Alex Pereira.
So he was 6-0 at the time,
Okay,
and
got
his
it.
record after that, which suggests to me that he was facing competition that maybe was not up to snuff before facing good fighters.
It's interesting because this news app that I'm using is framing it as Glory Star.
Which he is.
I guess he is, yeah.
Yeah, which he is.
Okay, Jeremy, this is one you could get into. So Vitor Belfort. Oscar De La Hoya has tested positive for COVID-19, which means that his fight against Vitor Belfort has been scrapped. Do you know who else they're going to put instead?
Wait. But he got COVID-19.
Yeah, no. The fight has been scrapped. He's no longer facing.
I didn't even know he was going to fight himself. I don't care about Oscar De La Hoya.
It's Evander Holyfield versus Vitor Belfort. How do you feel about that?
It's whatever.
This is the greatest pod of all time.
Guys. I mean, whatever. Like, if Evander Holyfield wants to wheel his wheelchair,
wow, you know he can box you up still, right?
From what I hear, no, he cannot.
He just fought Mike Tyson. No, oh wait, no,
he did not.
That was Roy Jones. Yeah,
I don't know. It's whatever.
From what I hear, no, he cannot.
Wow. Okay.
This is apparently now. Look, boxing IQ. Yeah, boxing IQ is boxing IQ, but
IQ is also IQ.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Evander Holyfield.
Yeah, but at the same time, apparently, and keep in mind, Evander Holyfield was a fighter who already but by the time he retired, was a guy who was considered hanging it a little too long in the tooth.
Fair, yeah.
So,
but boxing's all he knew, though. Like, he's one of the greatest boxers of all time, without a doubt.
Of course. Let's not be stupid.
Yeah.
You know who else is one of the greatest boxers of all time? Muhammad Ali. And look at what happened to Muhammad Ali.
What, he died of Parkinson's?
Exactly. Right? And people credit to him hanging around too long.
Sorry, unless you can bring a scientific study that links brain trauma to Parkinson's, I think that's a weird
Fair enough.
I'm pretty sure Parkinson's is like a degenerative, like neurological disease, like, if I'm not mistaken.
It is. But a lot of smart people have said it definitely did not help.
It definitely would not have helped, for sure.
So my whole point is that Evander Holyfield is older. He's even older than Tyson. I think he's like
he's older than Tyson.
I think he's in his late 50s. So,
but then again, he's boxing Vitor Belfort, who's definitely got to be in his 40s.
Yes,
mid to late 40s.
But have you seen Vitor Belfort recently?
TRT. But so is Evander Holyfield. Both of these guys are going to be on that schmack. And it's going to be interesting to watch. Right? I'm going to watch it. It's September 11th, if you guys are...
I hope the gods this commission blocks it.
Wait, so you mean to tell me that they made this fight in a week?
Yes.
This guy came in on a week's notice? Crazy, man. All right, okay.
You think and I have to be okay with this?
Yeah, for real, though. Okay, do you guys want to talk about the fight? Do you have any boxing news? Do
you want to go into boxing news before the fights?
There's no boxing news.
All right.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's jump into these fights then.
All right. Hold on.
Tran?
Exactly. Position.
Ding, ding.
Transition. All right. So yeah, this weekend we actually had a decent card, in my humble opinion. A little short, if I'm not mistaken, and it was one of those where they held it in the middle of the day. Mm-hmm. So I didn't even realize it was going on, kind of until after the Paddy Pimblett fight. Especially once the UFC just did what they're, when they have a guy that they want to push. And I get it, Paddy Pimblett is huge in the UK, like massive. Like I knew about him. He's like one of the few fighters that I've actually known before they come to the UFC. But like it was a lot, like the push he got. But let's not start from Paddy Pimblett, who did do okay. Let's start from the top. His fellow Liverpudlian, Darren Till, was fighting.
Well, hold on, is it Liverpudlian?
Yeah, Liverpudlian, technically.
It's not Liverpoolian?
No, Liverpudlian. And, they have the colloquialism Scouser as well. So I guess
because they all talk like, I mean, serious.
Yeah, that's not a bad impression. You got new Stefano. You know what? Stefano stayed in New York, man. Okay, we got Derek Brunson versus Darren Till.
Oh, guys, I'm champions. Michael Bisping and
don't push it. Okay. You started more and more Irish as you go along the accent. So Derek Brunson defeats Darren Till by submission, rear naked choke, 2 minutes and 13 seconds of round 3. I actually wrote some notes for this one, but I guess the first thing I would say is any initial thoughts. We'll start with Jeremy, who's barely said anything today.
Shouts out to Derek Brunson. Darren Till, I was surprised to see that he wasn't this fabulous striker that everyone was going
Wow.
Well, I mean, the fight basically boiled down to Darren Till did 1, 2, 3, and then Derek Brunson would take him to the ground.
Exactly, so...
You know what? I think that's actually a fair criticism. I think if you're Darren Till, and I know he's a super high-level Muay Thai fighter, like super high-level, but he's got to be more creative, more diverse in his striking. If he's, in my humble opinion, not that I'm an MMA fighter, but I just felt like it was very one-note in his striking, which made it easier for Derek Brunson to time the takedowns. And may have contributed to his loss. Because even when he did have success on his feet, I think it was maybe even Stefano who made this point. He wasn't doing anything like super crazy. He was really just like
1, 2 and a leg kick.
Yeah.
1, 2 and a leg kick.
Yeah, and you guys know I love a 1-2 and a leg kick as much as the next guy, but or even a 1-2-3 and a leg kick as much as the next guy. So meat and potatoes kind of stuff in Muay Thai, but this isn't a Muay Thai fight, man. Like eventually, you guys are gonna pick up on that, and they're gonna shoot. And yeah, my notes was, it really looks, and no offense, Darren, please. Guys in the UK, do not beat me up for this, but Darren Till...
You're on in a week, eh? So
yeah,
you better be careful.
I better be careful with what I say.
Don't be disrespectful. No,
but Darren Till cannot wrestle. Like, I think, like, we can officially say, like, Darren Till cannot wrestle, and even what's worse than his wrestling might be his jiu-jitsu. Like, it was not good.
Can I break out the "you can't wrestle"?
Yeah, with the British accent.
He can't wrestle. He can't wrestle. Yeah.
It was surprising for
but
me.
In fairness, Derek Brunson's the best wrestler in the middleweight division.
For sure. But I also wrote here, Brunson can wrestle his ass off. And I feel like with that mix, and honestly with Brunson's severely improved ground and pound, like it's like night and day.
He's a marksman now.
Like the way he was raining down those elbows, like he had like Darren Till's eye like shut pretty much after the first round, which should show like how much he dominated.
But like what I think though with some of this is that like Darren Till is a good fighter for sure. Like he's good enough to beat a lot of guys, but how much of our fascination with Darren Till is he comes up to Sweet Caroline, he's funny, he posts a lot of memes on Twitter. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
I mean, I think right now that's a fair claim, but I feel like initially, like we were excited to see almost like a bigger Conor McGregor, if that makes any sense. Like somebody who was like explosive, dynamic,
blindingly fast,
and like had like the striking chutzpah, the striking pedigree to like back it up, right? Like he is like a well-known Muay Thai fighter.
Wait, did you just use chutzpah?
Chutzpah. Is that chutzpah? Which is weird, but chutzpah is the word I'm looking for. Like he was like knocking dudes out in his first like 3 or 4 fights in the UFC.
Dude, that stepping elbow he did on Donald Cerrone was
dirty, man.
Nice,
dirty. And there was another stepping elbow later in this card that we'll talk about, but yeah, I just felt like Detail had no answer for like the wrestling. I mean, to be fair, he did in the second round stuff a few takedowns.
After round 2,
yeah, he did stuff a few takedowns. And let's be honest, he looked like way better than Derek Brunson in his stand-up, in my opinion.
Because Derek Brunson's stand-up is poo.
No, yeah, man. Bruh.
Well, in relative to his competition, right? Like you never know what he's like. Yeah.
I don't want to talk too much trash, but I think you would give him a lot of trouble, like on the feet. No disrespect. Like I feel like a seasoned striker would give him a lot of trouble. Like
I don't like
amateur striker.
As much as I am a shit talker, I don't like to equate myself into the shit talk.
Bruh, like I just feel like no disrespect because I do think like the way he mixes it up is really good. But like his stand up did not look good. And
in a pure striking contest, dude, there'd be some things you want to clean up for sure.
For sure. Yeah. And what else are like right here? Okay, Darren Till, he did well with his leg kicks in round 3, which makes me think he should have been going from that to that like from the get go. I feel like somebody in his corner probably said something to him, which like is why he started doing it more in round 3. I understand like you don't want to go too crazy with the kicks in MMA because there's always the threat of the takedown. If somebody catches your kick, you're kind of
throw it to the calf.
Sure, but even then, if somebody times you, like they'll eat a calf kick and like take you down. Like if they're shooting at the same time, kind of thing.
I get. Well,
I mean, maybe
it's possible.
Yeah, it's possible.
The more the worry with the calf kick is when someone checks, it hurts way worse than when you're checking like a leg kick to the thigh.
Fair.
Because you have the advantage of stability of stepping on your leg as you're checking. So if people don't understand what I'm talking about, just comment to me after and I'll try my best. But when you step on your foot, it's a lot more of a base than when you don't, like when it's up in the air. Like, let me explain it like this. Get 2 sticks together. Have the stick be based on the floor and hit it. Have the stick be up in the air and hit it. You'll notice that the stick that's striking the other stick, if you get what I'm trying to say, is not gonna crack as easy when it's up high as opposed to
based on the floor.
So That's the worry. For me, at least, that's the big worry when I'm throwing to the calf, as opposed to, let's say, throwing it to
but I don't think that was Darren Till's problem in this fight. I just feel like he didn't use his leg kicks enough early enough, to establish it, and then having watched like some Adesanya's video where he's like talking about the question mark kick and how to set it up kind of thing, and how you need to establish like the low kick in order to like open up and then the body kick to open up like the head kick and stuff like that. I feel like there was none of that, in my opinion, sophistication in Darren Till's striking, which made it fairly easy for
But see,
Brunson.
this is my problem, is that, like, why not a feint every once in a while? Like, it did seem...
Because I feel like he was feinting, but from distance, first of all. And I don't want to say that's not his game, because if you look at the Robert Whittaker fight...
That's all he did.
Oh, exactly. So I just feel like maybe he didn't have respect for Brunson on the feet, and was kind of just like focused on stopping the takedown.
But why not? Okay, see, this is my problem. A step in and step out. A tap to the floor. Like, there are other things you could have done. A left-right hip swivel. Like, there are things you could have done. You know what I'm saying?
But that's
Like,
not even Darren Till's fight style. Like, he's not like a super feinter. You know what I mean? Like, he's kind of like your meat and potatoes Muay Thai fighter.
it's just that he's blindingly fast again.
Yeah, exactly. And like his kicks are crazy. Like that's, and once again, which is why it was confusing. I'm not sure he threw a single kick until round 3.
I don't think he did at all either. But
And I feel like once he started building his confidence, like in the stand up, once he got enough time, like on his feet to actually kind of make Derek Brunson work. Derek Brunson gets the takedown, flips him on his back, and that's all she wrote.
yeah, there was a scramble that like could have went Darren Till's way.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it just
yeah.
Didn't.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. Because one of the things that people don't talk about with Derek Brunson is he's a strong
For sure.
motherfucker. Like,
I heard an opinion from Michael Bisping that said that Darren Till should go down to welterweight. I'm not sure that's the problem.
they tried that.
Well, it's not even like a weight cutting thing, because let's look at the welterweight. Who's the champion right now? Come on, can you really see Darren Till? If Tyron Woodley is schooling Darren Till, like, can you really tell me deep in your heart that Kamaru Usman wouldn't like just ground and pound him into like a pile of dust? Like,
Well, they got Tyron Woodley when Tyron Woodley was still Tyron Woodley.
still, man,
But
even
yes.
that Tyron Woodley was not like some like crazy, like, you know, kickboxer or whatever. Like he just like he beat him on the feet, then took him down and submitted him.
Yeah. And Mama Woodley was like, good try, good
Yeah,
effort.
and they gave the man his black belt. Do they that's too disrespectful to say on camera. But would you no, I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Oh, man. The Brittany Elkin syndrome. I'm just talking about it like that. Look. Okay. Let's pull up the top 10 list. I'll pull up on UFCrankings.com. Guys, stall for me.
Of welterweight?
Of both middleweight and welterweight. It's right there. UFC rankings. I'll pull up for the people at home. Right? But if I were to pull up the UFC rankings, like right now, okay? And everybody and
Oh wow, this
see.
is taking time.
Yeah, this is legit. This is a legit thing. Okay, so I'm gonna go down to middleweight and welterweight. Okay, so let's go to middleweight. Can Darren Till beat Andre Muniz?
Yes.
Okay. Can he beat Kevin Holland?
Yes.
Brad Tavares?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, boys, let me just check one thing. Okay, good. Just making sure. Okay, can he beat Chris Weidman?
No. Yes.
Depends what Chris Weidman.
Depends what Chris Weidman does.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can he beat Edmund Shabazian
Yes.
or Uriah Hall?
You know what? That one's a toss-up for me. Although, given the last Uriah Hall fight, I would lean towards yes.
Okay.
But it's a toss-up because they both have similar things. Similar, I don't want to say flaws, but similar quirks in their stand-up that might give them problems, in my opinion.
Jeremy, you think he gets Uriah Hall?
Who?
This guy
You think
is outta
Darren
here,
Till?
man.
Yeah. You think Darren Till beats Uriah Hall?
I haven't watched much of Darren Till, and nor have I Uriah Hall. I would say I'd probably go with Darren Till, maybe just off my little knowledge.
Fair enough. Cal McGasson, ladies and gentlemen.
He did beat Kelvin Gastelum.
Okay. Sean Strickland.
Honestly, no.
I think he beats him outright. Are you kidding me?
Honestly, Sean Strickland is active, man. Like, that's the problem with Darren Till. He's
That's
cerebral with it. Like, he can get frozen.
Okay,
a lot of the time. Or he can.
But Sean
frozen.
Strickland has so many striking holes. Like it's
for sure, but he's active and he can take a hit.
Yeah, and he's crazy.
Yeah, and he's crazy. He's willing to make it a firefight, which I don't think. I can't remember the last firefight that Darren Till was in. Like, real, like...
Firefight.
But,
like, Darren Till hits hard. Could you imagine just, like... And think about it. Like, imagine a blinding dart in straight left from Darren Till.
But that's all he... If you could... but that's what Sean Strickland would be trained to avoid. You'd be like, okay, make sure I avoid the leg kick. Make sure I avoid the darting left.
And Sean Strickland doesn't have a takedown threat. Like, he's openly admitted he doesn't go for takedowns. So, like, imagine they get to a clinch and all of a sudden Darren Till gets to work some Muay Thai. Are you kidding me?
I mean, but then imagine to get it to the floor. Sean Strickland is not wiping. That's sounding disrespectful.
I was about to say, like, Sean Strickland, like, he's openly admitted. He's like, hey, I think I'm good at jiu-jitsu. Like, I got a brown belt, but, like... I don't really... I
don't know what belt Darren Till has, but I would take Sean Strickland on the floor.
Okay, fair enough. Agree to disagree. So you think Sean Strickland beats Darren Till?
On current form, yes.
Okay. All right, Darren Till's ranked number 7. Jack Hermanson.
Toss up.
Right? Derek Brunson already beat him. Marvin Vittori.
Ooh. I would go Vittori.
All right. Jerry Cannonier.
This is getting tough. I would go Till, but just.
Paulo Costa.
No. Paulo Costa beats Darren Till. Sorry.
Robert Whitaker. We already saw that. Israel Adesanya, absolutely not.
Absolutely.
Okay, but the reason why I did that is to just show you that Darren Till's in or around the area. He's a good fighter, right?
Yeah, that was going to be one of my questions. Is it over for Darren Till?
And the answer is absolutely not. He's a good fighter. Now, if I were to go to welterweight, you'll even see it gets even more easier for him.
No, let's go.
All right, Daniel Rodriguez.
Tough.
Really?
Tough.
Really? No, he beats him. Come on.
Okay, go on. Who's next?
Muslim Salikov. That's a toss-up. That's actually a toss-up. Sean Brady.
No.
Santiago, my boy Santiago Ponzinibbio.
Ponzinibbio would box his brains off.
Li Jinliang.
I can't believe Ponzinibbio's ranked lower than.
Because Lee beat him.
Okay, yeah, I remember that.
First fight back for Santiago, Lee beat him.
I would put that one as a toss-up, personally.
Jeff Neal. If you say Jeff Neal,
no, he's gonna be Jeff Neal.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you say, I swear.
He's going to be Jeff Neal.
Don't you
Jeff.
ever.
I love Jeff Neal, but no.
Don't you ever. Bilal Muhammad.
No, I think he's beating Bilal Muhammad.
All right. Neil Magny.
I think he's beating Neil Magny.
All right. Michael Chiesa.
I think Michael Chiesa beats him.
Okay.
Because he can wrestle and grapple.
Jorge Masvidal, we already saw that, although that was a long ass time ago.
I think if they did it again, I think Masvidal beats him again.
Okay. Wonder Boy. Well, Darren Till, we already saw that Darren Till beat Wonder Boy.
Yeah, but like, I think if they go now, like,
does the Wonder Boy that faced Gilbert Burns versus Darren Till right now?
But Wonder Boy didn't look bad against Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns just looked really good, if I'm not mistaken.
Really?
Right?
You thought so?
I need to go back and rewatch that one. But my head is saying.
They already fought. They already fought a long ass time ago.
But that was a long ass, and that was a different.
Okay, so Jorge Masvidal, like, what are we talking about? Like,
I think even like the Masvidal that faced Usman beats like the current Darren. No disrespect.
Well, Usman, you know
Darren
what?
Till.
I feel like Usman was just on a different level that night. It wasn't even Jorge Masvidal's fault. Okay, fine. Agree, disagree. Vicente Luque.
Bro, come on.
Why you gotta do that? Why you gotta do that?
Come on, man.
Come on.
Vicente Luque is working him.
Yeah.
Working him.
Vicente Luque is a beast.
Although that would be an interesting. I would like to see that fight.
Yeah,
like that would be a great Muay Thai fight.
Right. Leon Edwards.
No, not like no. Sorry, Darren.
I mean, Leon Edwards nearly got stopped by Nate Diaz.
Bro, he did not nearly get stopped by Nate Diaz. Don't do that to my man. Don't do that to my man.
No, I like it. Yo, I was out here saying Leon Edwards should get a title shot.
He should get a title shot.
I was so I'm kidding. I'm being facetious.
Don't do that to my man.
He's getting
He almost gets stopped.
Leon Edwards is gonna hear this podcast and be like,
yeah, he's actually from Birmingham too.
Yeah, he's gonna be like,
jeez.
It's like I listened to Leg Kick, yeah. I was listening to Leg Kick, yeah, and that Michael was talking mad trash. Michael, are you mad?
I literally have my head like, you know what? Let me take it easy. One of those like videos where he just like has me by the hand and I'm bleeding. It's like, Michael, this could be you.
I was like, Leon, you got it.
He got him. No, I don't think Darren Till beats Leon Edwards. It's too serious. Leon Edwards too well rounded.
True. Oh man. Let's see. Okay, and then it's Gilbert Burns, Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman.
I don't think he beats Gilbert Burns. Yeah, I don't think he beats any of those three in my opinion right now.
Fair enough. Okay, but the point I'm trying to make here,
he's still top level for sure.
Yeah,
I think they're definitely with all due respect, needs to work on his wrestling, needs to significantly improve on his jiu-jitsu, needs to be more active. I don't know whether it's like a not wanting to expend too much energy or whether he's stuck too much in his own mind, like trying to like figure out the patterns and that kind of stuff. But like, and you know, he does have a very not slow, but a very methodical way of fighting. But yeah, I just think like there's certain things that he needs, in my opinion, to work on before he can really start challenging the top guys again. I would say he's in kind of the same boat as Kelvin Gastelum. In that, you know, he's had like a couple of runs, maybe even 3 like title charges, and unfortunately keeps falling short each time. And the top of the division is only getting like tougher and tougher and tougher. So, but the good news, he's like what, 28, 27, something like that. So he's got plenty of time to like work on it. If Bisping can do it, then
yeah. And that seems to Till's credit, that seems to be his motivation. He's saying, "Hey man, Charles Oliveira, Bisping, these guys were down in the ladder. They were down in the trenches, and then they came back and did it. So Darren Till is not going to let the loss discourage him, but please, if you're not going to leave the camp, which I don't think everybody, like, I don't think your immediate response when you're on the slump is leave your camp.
No.
Right? But I do think, though, making adjustments, going to a jiu-jitsu school every Thursday or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and there's no doubt he's definitely practicing jiu-jitsu. I think, like, they nailed it in the commentary when they're like, man, the difference between, like, Americans and Brits is not necessarily, like, the Brits are, like, less physically imposing or anything. It's just, like, there's a difference between, like, an NCAA, like, Division I wrestler who's, like, competing for the Olympics, being in the gym, and you're training with them every day, and just like training, with all due respect, like a bunch of guys in like the UK. You know what I mean? Like,
in fairness, there's some Olympians there, like, but like a British Olympian and an American Olympian.
It's like 2 different. Yeah, it's different gravy. Yeah. So yeah, I think with all due respect, he needs to go to like the US, go to like an AKA. And this is where it gets technical and I don't really understand, but do what Francis Ngannou did.
Went to Extreme Couture.
Yeah.
But then what happened with Francis? He was like, all right, this is my camp now. Bye, guys.
Yeah, that's the part. Like, I don't know if he needs to do all of the, like, switch camps, but at least spend some time, like, training with, like, top level wrestlers.
You know what? You know, the experiment I really want to see work, or, like, want to see what happens with, and to an extent see work, is Kevin Holland with DC.
Okay.
Right? So what's going on is Travis Lutter has let Kevin Holland train with DC.
Just DC or like the whole AKA?
Well, I don't know what the plan is, but Kevin Holland is training with DC with wrestling, but he's still with Travis Lutter and the boys over there to get his wrestling up, right? And, you know, Travis Lutter has allowed DC to take him under his wing, and is fully, I guess, is confident that Kevin Holland will leave or whatever the situation is. He's allowing Kevin Holland to become as good as he can be. And to Kevin Holland's credit, he's listening, he's doing the right things. But it's an experiment I want to see.
Sorry, Mike, how do you know this? How do you know he's listening and doing the right things?
Because everyone around him is saying he's listening and doing the right things. I don't know. Allegedly.
Okay, I was like, wait, how do you know this? Like,
yeah, I mean, this is the same guy who also said he wanted to shoot up Hamza Shemaev.
Hilarious.
So, like,
Allegedly. He could have just been generally had dildos in the car. Like, you don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Where I'm from, dildos and nuts, dildos and nuts in a car mean you're gonna shoot somebody. Right? I'm sorry. Like,
where I'm from, that just means you're gonna open a sex shop. I don't know. But yeah.
But the point I'm trying to make is that Kevin Holland is cross training between two gyms.
Yeah. I think cross training would definitely benefit Darren Till for sure.
I think more guys should do that route. As a person who's done it before, I am a big proponent of it. I think it's fine. Mm-hmm. I think the trouble you run into is one, travel costs.
Sure.
And two, but when you're both in California, who cares, right? With Kevin Holland. But two, the other issue is it's natural. Gyms have egos.
Right? Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Something I've been thinking about.
Oh man, this guy's been spending like 30 minutes thinking about this. Let's go. No pressure.
No, I've been thinking about it for a while. Let's say you had the same amount of free time, same amount of money. Which one do you think would be make you a more deadly fighter in the cage? Just going to the best MMA gym, or simultaneously going to a boxing gym, going to a Muay Thai gym, training at a wrestling club, and getting your black belt in jiu-jitsu?
MMA,
100%. Actually, you know what? I think Stefano, when he was here, was talking about Shinya Aoki and talking about Shinya Aoki's kind of philosophy on Japanese MMA. And one of the issues was that, whereas the guys would go to the boxing gym to train boxing, and go to the Muay Thai gym to train Muay Thai, and go to the, there's the issue you run into, is that you're not learning the transition between them. And that's kind of where you run into big issues, right?
Wait, Mike, is that a bird? Is that a plane? No, it's a Stefano flying in on a Skype call. Stefano.
Rough riding, D-blocking shit. Ninja, I'm from New York. You
cannot come in like that.
You know what? We Americans come in however we want. We kick in the front door and ignorantly barge our way into any conversation. So,
democracy.
Exactly. You look like you need some freedom over there. And I've come to free up the Leg Kick podcast from your talk about Drake, from your talk about, meaningless cultural issues, from your talk about anything not regarding fighting. Guys, I've been accused of dominating the conversation, and I came here to do just that.
Exactly.
Before we get started and get back into this Darren Till talk, is it okay if I interject with a quick story time, or do you want to save that for the last?
Save it for last.
Yeah, save it for story.
We're literally mid main card.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Darren Till, wow, he looked scrubby, man. He looked.
Yeah.
I said this when in the group message. He in the back, there was footage of him in the pads practicing the exact same slap right or lead right hook cross on the pads again and again, and that's basically all he did in the fight. No plan to keep Derek Brunson off him. No plan to really establish meaningful offense. And God forbid, Derek Brunson, after fumbling his way into a takedown, managed to spend the majority of the first two rounds on top and finish Darren Till. What do you guys think?
We said the same thing. I felt like Darren Till looked really one note in terms of his striking. As somebody who's supposed to be a revered, Muay Thai fighter, I felt like, he didn't really have a lot of creativity on the feet for a very, I'm not saying lackluster, but not top level striker in Derek Brunson. And honestly, I think that played into the ease in which Derek Brunson was able to kind of get the takedown and pretty much dominate. And what was even more worrying than Darren Till's lack of wrestling was his lack of jiu-jitsu. He did not have any answers. I'm not sure he even switched positions once on the floor. He was pretty much held down and just pummeled for 2.5 rounds.
No, I agree.
Yeah. I'm with you. Those first order attacks on the ground were there, but not much after that, right? And that's what you would expect out of a blue belt. After that attempted butterfly sweep in the second round, it was there was no regard attempt, and Brunson just passed immediately to Mount. It seems like he's Kevin Lee, one of those prospects who we had high hopes for, but never really panned out. And I wonder how much of it is, I was going to say a McGregor type thing where you fall victim to being a southpaw and shooting that left straight really quickly down the center against orthodox fighters. But for me, he just looked very, like you guys said, one note in this fight. And just at a massive deficit. And I got to be honest, neither of these men really cemented themselves as meaningful contenders for Israel Adesanya.
I thought Derek Brunson ground and pound looked much improved.
Agreed.
I agree.
Agreed.
He was, and I do think his timing for a takedown has gotten much better.
And he did a good job of like holding Darren Till in place and basically raining on him. As I said, his ground pound was much, much better. And to be fair, like even when he got rocked in that third round, like he immediately shot, not immediately, but like 10 seconds, 5 seconds shot for the takedown and was able to secure a submission off of getting rocked. So you can't say he's not like tough anymore, right?
I think he's easily the best wrestler in the division, and he's finding an eye for MMA wrestling. I just think that the problem is he's got so many noticeable flaws that like it's hard to give Derek Brunson respect when he wins.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the type of fighter who's going to have to go on these 6, 7, 8 long win streaks before people go, okay, yeah, he's ready for a title shot, because his chin is straight up in the air. He doesn't really have a lot of good deceptive martial arts tools on the feet. And he's not really, like, he has a great rear naked choke for sure. I mean, he submitted Derek Till with it, but he's not a guy who's going to be passing into full guard, like into full mount. And then, like, he doesn't have a comprehensive jiu-jitsu game in relativity.
He's a black belt.
I disagree. He's a Renzo Gracie black belt. Right?
Yeah, I was like, saying, like what?
Mike, I was I agreed with your take so thoroughly right up until that point. Like I think that his ground and pound looked phenomenal, and he does have a lot of flaws in his game that really don't get us excited for him in a title picture. But I mean, kudos to him. He got the win and looked. He clearly has learned how to punch into takedowns better than a lot of other people in the division. And I don't think that'll carry him past Israel Adesanya, but it made for an interesting, if sloppy, fight.
Yeah. I mean, any other? We went through the list of who he could be and not be into the division.
You know what? Let's do it again.
You want to do it again?
Let's do it again,
Right,
just quickly.
Let me pull up the rankings, guys. In the meantime, stall. Actually, it's right here. Never mind. All right.
Yeah, that didn't show.
Darren Till. All right. So, Ken Darren Till, top 15 of middleweight, just because for the sake of brevity and time.
Yeah.
Everybody. Top 15 of middleweight, not welterweight, because we had that conversation too. But Andre Muniz, does he beat Andre Muniz?
I said yes.
I said yes. Stefano, where you at?
Who the fuck is that guy?
The guy who broke Jack Ray's arm. Does he beat that?
Oh, I don't know enough about him to make that call.
Kevin Holland.
I said yes.
Does Brunson or Till beat Kevin Holland?
Till.
I think Kevin Holland is a big danger on the feet, and Till's obviously not going to mobilize offensive wrestling. I think there's an amount of chaos to that, but I will say I think Darren Till beats Holland. Yes.
Brad Tavares with the most undeserving number 13 rank of all time.
I said yes.
Yeah.
Chris Weidman.
I said toss.
I say it's. I feel. I don't know that Chris Weidman even deserves to be in the top 15 at this point, unfortunately. And I'm going to say yes based on the fragility of his body. I think a prime Chris Weidman runs through Darren Till, no problem with the offensive wrestling. But I think that Weidman might, no disrespect, get hurt very early on in the fight and not be able to make it through.
Fair enough. Okay, we got Edmund Shabazian. I said yes.
I said yes.
I'm going to say no.
Wow.
I think Shabazian is the threat, and he comes out very fast, very hard, very early, and he's also he's an orthodox fighter, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not as technical as Darren Till when it comes to stand-up, and we've seen there's definitely a hole in his game when it comes to like grappling as well. So it would be a stand-up fight for the most part, and I like Till's chances.
I like Till's chances, especially with his ability and propensity to get a clinch going.
Sure.
I think Till's main advantage over a lot of the division is speed, and I think Shabazian can match him in speed and
That's fair.
Overcome him in diversity of attacks. So I lean towards Shabazian, but I could be wrong.
All right, Uriah Hall. I said yes.
I said toss-up.
Yeah, I think toss-up as well. I think Uriah Hall has trouble building off of his jab, but again, speed is a toss-up in this fight. And yeah, I'm going to say toss up as well. I think both of them can hurt each other. I think there's a level of unpredictability with Uriah Hall. I would favor Hall early until late, to be honest.
All right, let's rapid fire through these. I know. Okay. Kamagasi, we saw what happened there.
Yeah.
I'm willing to give Darren Till the benefit of the doubt for that one. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
Okay, Sean Strickland, I said yeah.
I said no. I think Sean Strickland is too active, too busy for Darren Till right now in current form.
Yeah, it seems Darren Till is declining, and I think Sean Strickland, we tend to overrate him because, let's face it, his style is not cosmetically the best, but he might be able to put a pace on Darren Till that Darren Till won't be able to contend with.
Dude, he's so ugly.
Yeah, and also I felt like the Sean Stricklands may have some grappling, at least have some grappling, which we haven't.
He's a phenomenal grappler.
Pardon?
He's a phenomenal grappler.
I didn't know that. You see, Mike was saying he's not a good grappler.
No, I said he says he doesn't like taking it to the ground.
All right.
Which I did say.
You did say he was a brown belt too, but yeah, I don't know. Let's quick fire. Come on.
All right. Darren Till's number 7. Jack Hermanson, one word. Yes.
I said toss up.
Yes.
Yes. Derek Brunson, we saw what happened. Martin Vittori, yes.
I said no.
I said no.
I think Vittori fucks up Till, yeah.
Okay, Jared Cannonier.
Cannonier beats Till.
Toss up leaning towards Till.
It depends what is Cannonier going to
He's not gonna wrestle.
He's not wrestling, so in a strip kickboxing.
I think with these current iterations of the two of them, I think Cannonier brings a lot of firepower.
He did look good, but not like he didn't.
And guys, don't think like idealized Darren Till that we were hoping he would turn into.
I'm judging off current form. Even current form, Darren Till, I think like was more.
You know what? I think the Derek Brunson fight was just more of a case of a bad match.
Yeah.
That's why I'm kind of because Darren Till also had Robert Whittaker fought to 5 rounds in a standstill.
Yeah.
So.
And you can't say in that fight that he wasn't diverse or creative or at least sophisticated.
That's fair. I guess I'm going on his most recent performance where the wrestling threat was well established.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. I forgot that fight.
Yeah, I'll say toss up.
Okay.
All right, Paul Costa, one word.
No.
I put no.
Costa wins.
Yeah, Robert Whittaker. We saw what happened. Israel Adesanya, no chance. Okay. Let's,
how about Mike versus Jeremy?
Jeremy fucks me up.
Yeah. I saw that one yesterday in the gym.
Did Jeremy fuck up Mike?
No. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, technically, Mike fucked his own self up. He fucked his leg up.
So full disclosure, everybody, I have an Achilles injury, so I might have to pull out of the fight.
For real?
Yeah.
No. So that's why you weren't moving at all.
Yeah.
What happened, Mike? You okay?
No, I'm A-okay. It's just I can't push off it the same way, and I don't like lateral movement right now. So
I'm like, why is this guy standing still? All right,
I'm still
deadly for sure. And you still went pretty well with Donnie. So hey, anyway. Okay, so
right, Tom Aspinall, really quickly, guys.
I enjoyed this one. Tom Aspinall is, I feel like he's one of the few guys who can actually grapple from England, with all due respect. And yeah, I thought his finish was super nice with the step and elbow and then the ground pound. It was really good, man.
He was facing Sergey Spivak.
He's facing Sergey Spivak, but he submitted Andrei Arlovsky. I think he's an exciting prospect in the division, and I think heavyweight is actually getting some new exciting blood in it.
Agreed.
I'm becoming excited for heavyweight, and Aspinall is a big reason for that. I thought he looked good in this fight, right? Yeah, an overmatched Sergey Spivak for sure, right? Spivak, at times, no disrespect, but a bit of a gimmicky fighter, relies on headlock takedowns, powerful and stuff like that. But, man, gorgeous. That from that deep overhook, same side knee to the body, and then as soon as his foot hit the floor, that push off elbow, he brings a certain level of speed and just fluidity that you don't often see at heavyweight, and roundedness as well. Yeah,
completely agreed.
All All right. Okay. Are we? Let's move on. Okay. So is the next one Khalil Roundtree?
No, the next one's Alex Morono versus I think it's David Zawada.
Yeah.
I like the fight.
Can I just say that Morono, his nickname to me sounds vaguely white supremacist. Like, I know you're going for the whole shark angle, but the Great White, really? Superior Caucasian?
That's his name, the Great White. Oh,
I get he's going for the whole shark thing.
Wait, hold on. Not to play devil's advocate here, but if Derek Lewis can be Black Beast, like, why can't he be Great White?
Yeah. That's true. The superior Caucasian, right?
Aryan Alex Morono.
the Ubermensch.
And he's like Mexican or something. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. I thought this fight was interesting. I think that there were some very pronounced stylistic differences and holes to each other's game that I think Zawada just refusing to throw a feint went to the body exceedingly well, but man, you think that Morono, who's standing so exaggeratedly high on his stance and putting so much weight on that lead leg, Zawada would have thought to have countered that jab with a kick, right? A lot of Morono's success was kind of waiting into range and then answering with these wide swings. And it seemed like Zawada was so committed to his strategy of like working the body and then going upstairs, and he couldn't hit the head when the leg, it seemed like, was on a silver platter. Morono did some good work. He throws those weird straight-armed hooks, though, eh? I kind of like it, but
yeah, I mean, I felt like Morono looked good. I think for me, 30-27, kind of harsh. I thought Zawada, maybe you could give them the first round, maybe. But yeah, I thought Morono looked good. I don't know too much about him, honestly. Morono looked kind of big for welterweight, which is good for him. And big?
They were saying the opposite on commentary. They're like, yeah, he's kind of fat, kind of small.
These guys look like middleweights, personally. Like, they both look pretty big.
Mike, back me up here.
Morono looked tall, but he was a lanky fellow, and he
Fair.
did have some. Because you see a guy like Khalil Roundtree, for example. Look how much he fills out for 205.
I think Morono. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I'm just saying he fought at middleweight at some point. So like you're talking about those guys. At middleweight. So I mean, yeah, like Morono. I wouldn't say Morono looked small, but
he's 5'11".
Yeah, he wasn't as like I'm 5'11". I mean, you know, it is what it is.
I think his tall stance gives him the impression of being taller than he is.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. To an extent, Brian Ortega was the same way at featherweight. Like you look at him, you're like, wow, that's a tall drink of water.
No, he's really not. He's like 5'8" or something like that. Yeah.
I think they're lying about Brian Ortega's height. I think the UFC sometimes very inaccurately measures fighters. Like there's that classic picture that's been going around on MMA Reddit where they're like, all these fighters are listed as 6'4", from Derek Lewis, what's his name? Rosenstruik, Gone, and like you see them, Sakai, they're all like listed as 6'4", and then you see that they're all different heights and stare downs.
There's no way Cyril Gane is 6'4". There's just
6'5".
He's got to be like 6'5" at least.
And Rosenstruik is like 6'2". Like they sometimes the UFC
is surprisingly tall too. Yeah.
Yeah, the UFC sometimes just like for whatever reason is like, well, we're just going to misrepresent people's heights. Like in the Ortega versus Frankie Edgar fight, they're like Ortega and Edgar are only like 1 or 2 inches apart, and then you look at them and it looks like a man and a boy in the octagon. You know?
No, it's true. Like it's ridiculous. All right. Well, I think that Tom Aspinall. We all agree. Good prospect.
Yeah, Tom Aspinall is a good prospect. Don't know too much about Morono and Zawada. I need to see more from them. The Khalil Roundtree fight was.
This is the one I want to
talk about. First of all, Modestas Bukauskas is British, but he's representing, I think, Lithuania or something.
Yeah, born in Lithuania, moved to London, and played basketball in the U.S. for a bit.
Interesting. I didn't know that. That's interesting. But yeah, no, I thought Khalil Roundtree probably this is his best performance in the UFC, personally. Okay. Like, he looked pretty good against a very dangerous, like, if I'm not mistaken, Bukauskas must be on some kind of run if I'm not mistaken.
I think he was winning 3 straight before he met.
Yeah, because he was really highly touted coming into the UFC. But actually, no, he lost to Michael Oleksiejczuk before this. So
that was a close fight.
Yeah, I can't remember that one. And he lost to Jimmy Crute before this as well. So yeah, never mind. But
do you know what I thought? Like, I thought that Roundtree did a good job of like countering and shutting down the jab of Bukauskas early and really exploiting the fact that Bukauskas would lean his head straight back and was catching him with the lead hook, the lead right hook after the cross. And then as Bukauskas started pulling his head even further back, he would boot that lead leg with the outside kick. And then the second round, right as like Bukauskas was starting to find his way back into the fight and landed a couple of good crosses slipping outside of Khalil's lead hand, is when that just devastating kick came. You know?
Beautiful. And they were talking about it. Man, oh jeez. Feedback. They were talking about it in the commentary how he tries to go for that kick initially and doesn't really land it because the distance is off, and also Bukauskas has his foot off the ground. So the next time Bukauskas steps in with the literally like within like 5-10 seconds, next time he steps in for the jab, he like just side kicks the knee, and the scream. I'm not sure I've heard a scream like that. Even like when Chris Weidman broke his leg, I don't think it was like that loud a scream from the fighter. So that was pretty scary to watch.
Yeah. Well, like my problem with it is that immediately people go, the kick should be illegal.
No,
are.
Yeah, I'm glad we're all of that same opinion. Like, guys, quick survey. What would you rather have? A devastating knee injury that's awful but can be repaired by surgery, or brain trauma that causes you to forget your kids' names when you're 50?
I mean, I do like to watch and read. So.
You know, who cares about remembering his kids' names?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's unanimous for Bisping, and I know he needs to say this for the sake of like maintaining a certain level of decorum on the broadcast, but he's like, oh yeah, that's not the way you want to win. It's like, motherfucker, I want to win any way that stops my opponent.
That's the only reason you throw that kick is to debilitate the other person's knee.
Yeah,
so I don't get it. Yeah. And you know what's weird is like guys will throw like the, you know how he did like a side kick? Guys will throw it from like, I can't really explain it, like stepping in like this, kind of like stamping on the knee. Like they have no problem with that, but like because he does it as a side kick, all of a sudden it's a problem.
No, I think the problem people have with it is that it's not a finality way to win. It's like the striking equivalent to the leg to the heel hook.
Let's not final about it. He like fucked his knee up.
No,
exactly.
But like
yeah, that's the most final result you can get. Like,
no, of course. Well, guys, understand what I'm trying to explain. Like, what I'm trying to explain,
it's like this technicality that you won on. You know, that you didn't really best the guy. You know, that's how people treat it.
Have that thought process as like, you just went to the knee and just. It was. Remember, classic story. Remember, I always bring up this fight because it's like the one that got me into Muay Thai a lot. Rick Rufus, kissing Agbaire. And remember at the end, Duke Rufus, one of the greatest American kickboxers of all time, goes, all he did was just kick him in the leg. That doesn't show any talent.
Yeah.
You remember that? And
he's since changed his opinion on that, by the way. Obviously. I mean, he does.
Of course he did.
Because of the most obscure references when Stefano here. Yeah. That was all like amateur, like casual. Yeah.
Oh, that's not amateur. That fight changed the face of kickboxing forever. But I guess it is kind of obscure. But like
it's obscure, but like it's a very well known fight for changing how people approach like striking. Right. Because now like it's become like that's able to everyone.
I remember, and I'm sure you guys remember when John Jones was making his run and then playing those oblique kicks. There was a discussion then over whether they should be banned or not. You remember that?
It's the same thing. It's literally like for me, there's no difference between that, like what Khalil Roundtree did, and an oblique kick. Like for me, like
right, or a cap kick, right? Like or a cap kick. It's just people have this weird like fascination with you need to do something like.
Yeah, you need
grandiose.
To do like a knock. It has to be like a meat and potatoes, like knockout or like a Like, come on, man.
Right, and that's the thing. It was like that with the leg kick until people like really wised up. Like I'm talking like the swing kick down to the cap or to the thigh. And now it's like that with this new technique, the side kick to the knee. But guess what? Here's the other thing. Just like a calf kick, it can go disastrously wrong for you if you miss or you get countered from it.
Yeah.
Like, who remembers Holly Holm versus Amanda Nunes?
Yes, yeah. I saw someone circulating this compilation of properly defended side kicks and oblique kicks. And it's also not a technique that like is impossible to defend. Gustafsson took John Jones down off of one. You just mentioned the Holly Holm example of getting knocked out by Amanda Nunes. Like, there's like a plethora of evidence for like, it's just another technique. And yes,
my girl's son Rose did it to Michelle Watterson.
Yeah.
Like, took her to school. Like,
there you go. So I mean, like, I'm glad we're all on the same page here. Like, it's martial arts. It is what it is. Stopping the fight is stopping the fight. Like, you're throwing in a technique that has devastating effect. And yeah, I mean, if anything, this yields a lower rate of finishing than a lot of techniques we've seen, you know? Like
this is the first time I've seen it finish a fight. I'll be honest.
Yeah, usually it just like messes somebody's knee up and they keep fighting. But I think just with Roundtree's power and just the timing of it, like
the timing, yeah.
Like, that should be celebrated for. Like, I'm serious. Like that was.
Yeah, and I found it weird. He had to come out like after the fight and be like, "Hey, so yeah, I practice it, but I don't really practice it in the gym because I'm a good teammate." Like,
because you're gonna fuck somebody up like that. Like, imagine.
I hate to break it, but guys are throwing oblique kicks in Matador, man. Like,
they're doing it, but they're doing it. They're doing it like Donnie had to pull back on one. I swear, like, yes, they were doing it. How do you Achilles like, by the way?
To be fair, Roundtree did say that I throw the technique in the gym, but not with that same power, right? And it is one of those things where, like, you know, you can throw it, just etiquette dictates that you shouldn't be trying to harm your training partners. It's the same thing as, like, you know, I'm not going to throw a full-on overhand right in the middle of training and try and, like, KO someone. I'm going to take some of the stank off of it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like it's not like if you throw it nice and light, you just let them know, hey, it can happen to you.
I just felt bad, but I just thought it was weird that he had to like defend himself. Maybe he doesn't want the reputation as a guy who like tears knees off and stuff like that.
I don't think it's even that. I think it's all just a broadcasting choice, to be honest. You know?
Yeah, it was weird. They didn't even want to show the replay initially because they thought it would be too graphic. And
I think if you're trying to sell, like, again, it's on ESPN. You're trying to sell this to masses, like, and we just talked about CP24, right? Like, and the whole idea of like they show certain sports, but they won't show this one.
Yeah.
Right? You're trying to get yourself.
Wait, we talked about CP24.
Layla Fernandez versus.
Oh yeah, you're right, we did.
So the idea that like you're trying to sell this game to the masses, right? Which is why you're on ESPN. You kind of have to,
I guess,
like make decisions on the fly of what you're going to sanitize and not sanitize.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily blame you for that. What I will say though is, to Modaskas Bukauskas credit, he came on and was like, no, it's a legit technique. He got me. There it is. Like, so
there's nothing to say. He got it. He got it.
Yeah, and like any other injury or devastating knockout that happens, you know, we obviously all wish Modaskas Bukauskas speedy recovery and hope he's able to get back to his sport. You know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Did you watch the Paddy Pimblett fight?
Yes, I did.
Man, I think number one, I'm more excited for Jack Shore than Paddy Pimblett as a prospect. And I think Paddy Pimblett showed a lot of heart and durability against an opponent who he was supposed to walk through. And
technically he did. He did first round TKO.
Yeah, I mean, walk through some adversity. And I could see how his game changed dramatically. He came in with a lot of confidence, fighting behind his kicks, nice high stance. And then, I mean, the Italian stallion stuck around long enough in range to hurt Paddy Pimblett, and it slowed Paddy Pimblett down noticeably. Right? What was it that actually that Pimblett threw to initially hurt the Italian stallion?
Oh, very fast left hook, right hook.
Okay.
Yeah, very fast left.
That was the initial one?
Yeah, and then because that's the one that hurt him, that got him staggering back. Then he goes and lands the jumping switch knee, and then it's just a flurry at the end of the fight. That's what I remember. But I could be wrong. I guess. Am I describing it right, Dave?
I didn't watch the beginning of this fight. I'm gonna be honest. I watched the knockout, but did not watch the entire.
Because it's like basically like the one thing about Paddy Pimblett is he's a really fast. Actually, I think he landed up with that somewhere in those stories. But like the one thing about Paddy Pimblett, I will say, is he's a fast guy.
Sure.
He's a fast guy. Those hands are coming out fast. They were loopy but fast. And yeah, like I think what excites a lot of people about him is that the kid's a fighter. Like the kid, like tough guy who also will throw and brawl. Right? And usually comes out the better side of that respect.
Yeah, so he throws an uppercut and then follows with an overhand right, which sets up the flurry. Yeah. And then he's basically just like pummeling him in the corner. Yeah.
Right? There was that jumping switch knee that I really appreciated.
That was nice. That was nice. In the middle of mid-combination, like once he had his opponent hurt. Yeah. Apparently his bread and butter is grappling.
Yeah,
like he's a relentless back attacker. That's what I've heard. I haven't seen much of his pre-UFC career. I just know that anyone who does anything within Cage Wars comes out with a lot of hype.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying in the beginning of the pod. Is that I've not seen this much hype for a British athlete since Conor McGregor.
Well, yeah.
Like by the UFC, the way they're pushing this dude, like
Conor McGregor's Irish. Okay.
Oh, sorry.
He said no. He said British. He said British.
All right, please. Pardon?
He said British. So doesn't that still technically count?
McGregor wouldn't count. Ireland doesn't count.
No, Ireland. But I get what you're saying. Anybody coming out of that UK scene, like especially Cage Wars, for whatever, like, even to a lesser extent. Remember when Jack Herbert was getting like the push, a little bit of the push?
Not really. No.
Yeah,
not like this though.
Not like, of course.
They had the knockout out like 10 minutes, immediately. On YouTube too, like it was crazy, man. They were giving him the crazy push.
It was a fun fight though. I have to say,
it was
a fun fight.
Fun. Right. And was it in the UK? No, or Vegas, right?
It was in Vegas, but they had UK time.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, that makes sense actually. And I bet like if they do a show in the UK, like the crowd will go nuts for him because from what I understand, he has a huge following in the UK.
Yeah, because it looks like, hey man, he's a kid who looks good. You know what I'm saying?
Wait, why does he look good?
I'm talking about like in terms of like stylistic.
I was like, wait, this is a weird crush thing. He looks like a rocker.
He does have a good sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say like, me and Faustine were talking about this. He looks like a British rocker from the '70s. Like if he was wearing some like checkered pants and like a jean jacket, and he was carrying a Fender Stratocaster in his hand, I think he'd look more, his look would be more suited to.
For sure, he looks like a mod, and he also looks like he could be part of Oasis and the Beatles.
Oasis, best fucking band in the world.
But yeah, no, he's just like he stylistically is a fun fight. He talks a lot of shit.
He's in one of the toughest divisions, though. I mean,
look, if he faces somebody real, at this current stage of his life, it's not going to be good. Could you imagine him versus like, oh my god, him versus? I don't even want to go like super high. I want to keep it low. Him versus Armin Suzuki could get very ugly.
Yeah, I mean he's young and has a lot of hype behind him, so I expect the UFC to give him a smooth transition into the top 15 and find as many, they'll give him the Sage Northcutt treatment, unfortunately.
Yeah, for sure.
Usually, what's that?
Can I just say that watching Jeremy just contemplate his life while sitting on this pod?
Yeah, Jeremy.
It's killing me, man.
Hey, bud. Listen, man, I'm sure there's a nice bed somewhere over there in the corner if you want to take a nice nap.
He's staring at the bed like, yo, I could be on that right now. While I'm here with you guys.
All right. That was the last fight.
Hey, Jeremy, if you want some... Oh, can I quickly talk about Jack Shore? Because I thought he looked good. I think he fought a gentleman from The Ultimate Fighter. I forget his name, but I watched him on The Ultimate Fighter, and he was a bit overmatched. But the guy was... What's that?
Cholinian.
Sholinian, yeah, Sholinian. Sholinian, who's a good wrestler, but really seems to have a very basic mixed martial arts game. But I think Jack Shore, I'm very excited for him as a prospect at bantamweight, another Cage Wars product. And I think he was a good example of doing a lot of work with very few weapons, making Sholinian walk onto a jab again and again and again, level changing on him when he got too aggressive, taking down a Ukrainian national wrestler. And had a good one to attack the body when Sholinian got a little bit too aggressive as well. I'm excited for some Jack Shore in the future.
Do you have any thoughts on the Juicy J Jordan fight?
I didn't see it yet.
Okay. I haven't seen it yet.
What about Michael made a really smart comment, and by smart I mean spicy comment about Marc Andre Barrio. Michael, did you watch this fight?
No, I didn't watch the
Then why would they show highlights of it on CP24?
My point being that she beat Naomi Osaka. Like Layla Fernandez beat Naomi Osaka with all due respect in the third round. She's gonna get lit up by somebody real next round.
Naomi Osaka is real, but Barrio beat Lujimbula. I'm sorry, can I just say I love an African fighter as much as the next guy, but Lujimbula, man, he came with a lot of hype, and unfortunately, I'm not sure he's won a fight yet in the UFC.
Because he's. Have you seen the one?
I think he'll fight. Listen, Lujimbula is probably has more testosterone than I will have ever accumulated my entire life.
We don't do PEDs in Africa. He's probably just eating that pounded yam like really well. No, the pounded yam is goat meat starch.
It's all natural. I'd say it's all natural, baby.
Yeah, man.
Pounded yam, I swear I remember reading an article, a Steve S. article that was like, does pounded yam have a steroidal effect? I swear.
I see it.
You know who's somebody who claims to have never done a PED and has had their diet fueled by just good, healthy African cuisine, or I should say Caribbean African cuisine. That's your boy Lennox Lewis, right, Mike?
Oh God!
But
Mike has already had his obligatory tirade against Lennox.
We are not.
When Mike was dragging him around by his hair across the
man.
You guys see what you guys have done. You both in Jeremy.
Hilarious.
Hey, David, do you want to wake up Jeremy quickly for the Lennox Lewis story?
Hilarious. Okay. Okay. Wait, you had a story you said?
So I got a little story, yeah. And David, Jeremy, Mike's heard this, but you guys haven't. So as you fans out there may have known, I haven't been on the pod because I've actually temporarily relocated to New York. Been getting some training in here, but mostly just doing some touristy exploring. It's been a lot of fun. But when I got here, I'm like, all right, let me do a load of groceries. Let me go get some groceries. And I'm in Manhattan where everything is fucking expensive as shit. Yeah, I'm in the Upper East Side. I went to buy a bag of grapes at a local supermarket the other day. They're like $10 American. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm like, put those damn grapes. I don't need grapes that badly.
So for the rents, not the grapes.
Yeah. So basically, we've been getting groceries in other places where we can that are cheaper, going to Queens or something. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make a run at Costco. Where's Costco? Costco can't be too expensive. I'm like, okay, it's just a bit north of here. I'm going to walk there and subway back and bus back. And you know what? I'm going to bring this big orange suitcase with me. I'm going to bring the suitcase to keep my groceries in there. So here I am, innocent Caucasian boy from the suburbs. I got my bright blue polo shirt on and this bright orange suitcase. I'm wearing these striped socks. Mike, are you muted?
No, I'm here.
You're okay. So I'm here, and I'm here in these streets, and I'm in beautiful Upper East Side Manhattan. Nice neighborhood, and I'm walking north with my suitcase. With my Caucasian obliviousness, and all of a sudden,
hold on. Can we put Caucasian obliviousness on a shirt?
And as I'm walking through this, shit starts to get a little less, shall we say, rosy, a little less gentrified. I start seeing some. What do you say?
I said Caucasian, but gentrified is probably a better word.
Yeah. So I'm walking. I start seeing barbed wire fences. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting thing. I'm walking a little further and I see spray painted pictures of dead gangsters on the side of walls, like "Rest in peace, Tyrone." I'm like, okay. As I keep walking, I see crackheads. It just looks like a very not nice neighborhood. There's like barbed wire fences with a bunch of dudes blasting rap music I'd never heard of, like that really janky ass rap music that somebody would try to sell you as you walk on the subway, like buy my mixtape, and like I keep going, and then I pass by the side street on my way to Costco, and I see this group of these 3 dudes, and they're like, I told him he shouldn't have fucking come on my turf. I told him, I'm like, what the fuck is going? Where am I? I'm not in the Upper East Side Manhattan anymore. I pull up my phone. I'm like, okay, let's have a look. East fucking Harlem, with a bright orange suitcase and a bright.
Well, the good news is that if one of them did come up to you, luckily you got them hands, right? So you would have given them some trouble until they pulled out a pistol.
Yeah, I was gonna say these hands are rated E for everyone, but like,
so are pistols.
They certainly can't block bullets. So as soon as I realize where I am, I'm like, if it's a neighborhood I've heard of in a rap song, I do not want to be in it, right? South Jamaica, Queens. I'm not talking about Little Dicky songs, by the way. But
hilarious.
Right then and there, I am like, I am not getting shot today. I made a beeline for the highway, and I walked alongside the highway to Costco.
Wow, that is definitely very Caucasian of you. Like, my God, this guy would rather walk against oncoming highway traffic than walk amongst some black people. I see how it is.
Yeah, man, you guys frighten me. But to be fair, every time I come to the Lake Geek Studios, every time I come to the Lake Kick Studios, I see Mike eyeing my wallet. Okay, I mean that could just be because it's in my back pocket and he's checking out this ass, but I think he's eyeing my wallet.
Oh gosh.
But hey, to be fair, I talked to a friend of the podcast, Christian Yaboa. He's like, "Yo, I'm black and I wouldn't even want to be in that area."
Fair. No, I mean I wouldn't be walking down East Harlem. I wouldn't be walking down any New York street that I didn't know. Just like that, personally.
Yeah.
So that's just...
I downloaded something called the New York Safety Map on Google Maps after that, and it shows you where the areas are you can avoid.
Wow.
Was East Harlem one of those areas you should avoid, by the way?
Yes, East Harlem is one of the worst rated areas in all of New York, along with South Jamaica, Queens, and
the Bronx, I bet.
Certain areas of the Bronx. Yeah, there's a few areas of Brooklyn. But not where Ja Rule's from. He's a fake-ass gangster.
That is funny. Oh, shit. Well, we do not endorse those opinions here. Please, Mr. Murder Inks, do not come to...
What would I be without you?
Oh, my God.
Remember when you got the keys and scratched my leather with bricks?
Baby.
Your lips. Those are...
All right.
Love it when you look at me, baby.
All right, it's time for Jimmy's match. Let's end this.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. You know what? Since we have Stefano this week, Stefano, do you want to threaten some children? Wrap it up.
Oh, I'd love to, please. Yes.
Before we threaten some children, Stefano, what's going on with your camera, brother? Like,
oh yeah, yo, is that a potato or a microwave? Which one are you recording on?
So, first of all, like I said, I left all my recording equipment because you guys want to hear about the process I had to go through to get into the States? Fuck. Oh, you know what? I gotta tell you about this if you guys want to hear another story, this sassy black woman at customs that made me cry.
Let's tell that one off air.
Tell that one off air because
the way you set that up, it's gonna make it sound crazy.
Yeah. Also, we can save it for another show.
Good.
So, yeah, guys, subscribe to the podcast. You can find us where podcasts are found. And we're on YouTube. We're on Google Play. We're on Spotify. We're everywhere. We're everywhere, okay? Now, we're in your brain. And if you don't subscribe to the Leg Kick podcast, I swear to God, we'll waterboard you and make your children watch. We will do that.
Oh,
we will.
Did you say you'll make your children wash? Like,
yes,
literally
as we
wash?
waterboard. Wash. Jesus Christ, Michael Jackson over here. Or should I? Who else? Oh yeah, no, I think Michael Jackson's fine. That should prove it. So yeah, guys, unless you want to get waterboarded in front of your children, subscribe to the Late Kick Podcast. Mike, to play us out, what does that mean?
Oh, well, fuck it, we'll do it live. In this crazy mixed up world where Stefano's in East Harlem and you guys did nothing about it. We send him to you.
He came to your block.
He came to your block.
Hey, I'm coming real quick. My rap album about how I made it out of the hood is coming out soon. Because I did make it out of East Harlem. I'm out here in these streets, okay? I'm a tough, verified gangster at this point, all right? Came up from the bottom.
Highway walker.
Started. hey, came up from the mud, wink, wink, if you know what I mean, all right?
Hilarious.
Yeah, came up from them highways.
Yeah, really. Came up from the mud and ran to the highway.
All right, in this crazy mixed up world, where things are just going to hell and there's unnecessary elections. Just remember, you got 3 things. You got life, you got family, and this podcast. Take it easy, everybody.